The following video is a production of the Fondation LatinArte, in association with the Centre Mémoire Montréalais, and the International Center for Information and Documentation on Haiti, the Caribbean and the Afro-Canadienne community. It was produced under the direction of Mariza Rosales Argonza, in 2018, as part of the project, Vues transversales. The video is part of Mémoire de Montréal, the MEMS online encyclopedia. It appears in the collection, Stories of Immigration, and in the dossier, The Latin American Community in Montreal. It shows a meeting with Rafael Zaldivar, a Montreal jazz pianist who immigrated from Cuba. During the video, the Afro-Cuban musician tells his story, and plays the grand piano. While he talks about Old Montreal, video excerpts show the attractions of the neighborhood. First, the Place de Youville fire station, then City Hall, the Old Red Building, Place Jacques-Cartier, Notre Dame Basilica, and the Bank of Montreal head office. Credits begin. Images scroll by, as if on a film reel. Some of them stand out. Across Park Martin Luther King, St. Pascal Baylon Church stands beside Plaza Côte de Neige. Cyclists ride in a park. Facing Beaver Lake, a woman and her dog are sitting on a bench. The Place de Youville fire station stands under a blue sky. Title appears. Vues transversales. The film reel zooms in on the face of Rafael Zaldivar. Inside a piano, the hammers press on the strings.
I'm Rafael Zaldivar. My discipline is jazz interpretation on the piano. I'm from Cuba, more precisely the city of Camagüey. I think that basically, I am a creator, a musical performer, a pianist, an improviser. I compose music. That's how I dove in, or how I integrated myself in the creative process. Since I was a kid, when I was 6 years old, it was really the interpretation that attracted me at the time. But I think that's what really made a difference. It is also the foundation, the background that I already had above all in my country. My background, my musical experience. Then, above all, my influence. My cultural influence. My cultural heritage. For example, the Afro-Cuban issue, the Afro-Cuban ideology, Afro-Cuban rhythm and dance, Afro-Cuban choreography and songs, and spiritual philosophy. The spirituality of the Afro-Cuban culture. When I arrived here in 2005, I remember leaving the airport, taking a taxi, a car, to go to Sherbrooke. I used to live in Sherbrooke. I looked out the window. I said to myself, well, this system is too continuous, too concrete for me. I don't think I will become a musician here. But, contrary to this thought, to this idea that I had at that time, everything was completely revealing itself the other way around. So today I've really come a long way. As a musician, performer, creator, artistic director, researcher too, and teacher. Then, I think it's really a revelation at that time. To be able to think that today, I would have made it as far as I did. Montreal has become my place, yes, my place of work. My place of cultural integration. My place of professional development. But I feel like a citizen of the world. Rather than an immigrant in Montreal. I feel like a citizen of the world, who brings something to Montreal. Then who contributes in one way or another with the citizens. Canadian citizens, those who were born here. So, for me, being part of the Montreal community means to be able to realize my ideal. My favorite place in Montreal is the Old Port. I discovered this place. I think there was an opening. We went to visit a place which was in the Old Port as well. It's a kind of maze. Then we went to play inside the maze and try it out with my nieces. Then I also discovered the Old Port. For me it was like, wow. It's a place where you feel the rest, the calm, despite the fact that the city of Montreal is quite active. It's also a place that combines the urban side with the old side, the tradition and the history somewhat. At home in Camagüey as well. Downtown Camagüey is like a kind of mirror of old Montreal. So, it makes me feel at home a bit. It's a bit of time travel. So I think the foundation of what I create, or the most important message in what I create, it's a feeling of stability and firmness. With openness. Spiritual openness versus spirituality versus communication. And there you go. As an Afro-Cuban musician, I think these are the most important and revealing points in what I create.
Rafael Zaldivar takes his hand off the piano keys. Credits begin. A film reel shows portraits of Latin Quebec artists. In one image, a drizzle of maple syrup drips from a tin can. It pools into the shape of Latin America. The title appears on the amber puddle. Vues transversales, a panorama of Latin American art in Quebec. Direction, production and audiovisual post-production, Felix Herrera. Production and content, Angela Sierra. Research and translations, Isolde Picard. Animation, G4 Audiovisual, and, Aaron Amortigui Sanchez. Project direction, Mariza Rosales Argonza. Many thanks to the LatinArtistes, and their talent, who make Vues transversales possible. Ana Catalina Montoya, Ana Pfeiffer Quiros, Beatriz Herrera, Diana Leon, Diego Yeo Herrera, Laura Bari, Maria Ezcura, Mauricio Segura, Rafael Sotolicchio, and Rafael Zaldivar. Music, Rafael Zaldivar. Circularity, Danza Negra, Decima, Don Heather, Eyesight, Miguaguanco, Oneness, and Pregonero. Special thanks to the Centre Culturel Notre Dame de Grâce and the Bibliothèque Béni, to Édition Boréal, to Les Grands Ballets Canadiens, to Cajoyerie, to the Maison de la Culture Villeray Saint-Michel Park Extension, to the Salle de Diffusion de Park Extension, to McGill University and to the Théâtre aux Écuries. Vues transversales is a production of the Fondation LatinArte, in association with the Mem and Sadiqa. Vues transversales is made possible thanks to the financial support of the City of Montreal and the Conseil des Arts et des Lettres du Québec. Audio description by Ella Cuscio.